Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Tim Marshburn. I'm a retired paramedic. I worked in Charlotte, North Carolina for 30 years. And a month or two ago, I decided to start a YouTube channel about motorcycle touring, long distance adventures on the motorcycle, how to plan, prepare, ride all over the country or ride short distances. And that's what this channel is about, so I can share those things. But today's video is a special video. Today's video is a ride to remember. Today is September 11th, 2021. 20 years ago, our nation was horrifically attacked in the events of September 11th. We need to never forget what happened on that fateful day. My remembrance of September 11th, 2001 was I was working out of Fire Station 12 in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we ran an automobile accident over in the South Park area. While we were on the scene of that call, we received an AlphaMate page, to tell you the technology back then, that informed us that a plane had hit the World Trade Center, one of the towers. And, you know, high-rise buildings have been hit by small Cessna planes before, so we thought, man, that's tragic. I was working with a retired Navy SEAL, or a former Navy SEAL at the time. His name was Eric. And while we were on the scene of that call, it was an automobile accident. We were there for a while. We received a second page toward the end of that call that said the second tower had been hit. We knew then that it was no accident. We didn't know all the stuff that was going on, but we knew it was no accident at that point. As we got back in the truck, Eric, knowing this was an act of terror, said, man, I'm going back in. And within 2 months, he had re-enlisted in the military. And I lost touch with Eric back then, but thank you to all of our military that responded to the need to keep us safe after those events. We ran a second call. Right after that, we were in a patient's house when we saw the towers actually collapse. As a first responder, my heart goes out to the first responders that were lost and their families, all the victims of September 11th, all the victims at the World Trade Center, all the victims at the Pentagon, all the victims on Flight 93 that crashed in Shanksville, all the victims on all the flights. But my heart really connects with the families of the first responders, with the fellow first responders, the folks that had to go back and work every day after that. I get emotional talking about it, so I'll not do that. But this ride today is to remember those guys, all the lives that were lost on September 11th, 2001. So let's get to the ride. This morning, I'm headed over to Speedway Harley Davison to meet up with the HOG chapter. They're doing a ride to Nevins to support one of the other local HOG chapters. It's a beautiful morning here in Charlotte, and I'll catch you guys in just a little while. All right, guys, let's head over to the ride for Nevins. I'm at Starbucks on the way to get a little bit of espresso. This church I'm going by is on the way to my house. My granddaughter calls that the castle. I can see how a 3-year-old would believe that's a castle. All right, guys, I got my espresso. I have two of these actually. Put 1.5 of them in my big Yeti cup, and I'll drink this one on the way over to the dealership. All right, guys. I made it over to Speedway. Everybody's gathering behind me for the ride. They're going to have a moment of silence in remembrance of the events that happened on September 11th, 2001. More about that later on in this video. But let's get back to the ride.
Do a moment of silence at 8:45 for the first tower getting struck. 8:45. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you, guys. Here's the deal for today.
All right, guys. We made it over to Independence Harley Davison in Matthews, North Carolina. These are the guys that are putting on the ride today. It's called the Nevins Ride. It goes to a group home for developmentally challenged individuals. And let me show you what all we got here. It's going to be a police escorted ride. But I'm riding with the Speedway HOG chapter. And we came over here to Matthews to ride this ride with the HOG chapter from Independence.
So, first thing, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. We got the Speedway chapter here along with our chapter, so that's great you guys coming out to support this. We really appreciate it. It's going to be a short ride today. These guys are going to help us out. Sergeant Cutherson.
Yes, sir.
I pronounced it right.
Yes, sir.
And so he's going to explain a few things, and then he's going to turn it back over to me.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I appreciate everybody being here. Real quick, safety brief. When we get going on Independence, you guys hear sirens and stuff. Don't let it freak you out. It's just letting us know, letting you know that we're flying up behind you, coming up beside you.
Safely today.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I'll turn it back over to Earl.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
So, the one thing we're going to do when we get into the campus, it's going to be a left-hand turn. They're going to block Nevins Road so we can come into the campus. We're going to ride all the way to the back. There's a lot back there, and then we're going to do a U-turn and come back up and then park. So, as we go in, we like to make some noise. So, anything you got that you can make noise with, I don't know, you can howl, scream, rev the engine, whatever you want to, blow the horn, whatever. So, anyway, this is, 20 years ago today, it was a tough day for everybody, and it's been tough. So, we just want to take a moment and just reflect on that in a moment of silence, if everybody would, please. Okay, so this allows us to have the opportunity to have fun like today, what happened 20 years ago. So we want to continue that, and so let's go, crank it up, and let's get this ride going, and let's have a nice ride over there, nice and safe, okay?
right, guys, we made it to the Nevins Center, and we're all going to gather around up here. Let's kind of show you what's going on.
What? If I can't see you, you're not in it.
All right, guys, they're playing games with the residents here. They call them consumers. That people are going to play games, and I'll stick around and look at some of that. I might even play. All right. Hey, guys, they're doing a balloon toss. Let's see how this goes.
That's a bad throw. Put it in there. I'm out. You're out.
Bill JB's still in.
Good throw.
Good throw.
Do it again. There you go.
Close.
Oh, you almost make it, buddy.
Mary.
Hey, ringer.
Nice. Yep.
Hey, guys, I'm here with Marvin. He's one of the chapter members of the Speedway HOG chapter, and he was actually in New York, a resident of New York City, on September 11th, 2001. And I just want to ask him to tell us a little bit about his story and remembrance of that day.
Hey y'all, my name is Marvin, once again, native of New York City, and I was just sharing my story that on 9/11, I had just been promoted to a district manager of my company, and I was having my first meeting at the LaGuardia Airport Hotel in Queens, New York, literally just maybe about 3 miles away from the site. And I was the Manhattan district manager, so I actually had sales reps who lived in Battery Park City. And you could only imagine the chaos after we found out everything that was going on, that there were loved ones there that were married to some of my sales reps that lived in Battery Park City. Thank goodness everything worked out. But you could only imagine that meeting kicked off at 8 o'clock in the morning. We had no clue what was going on because we were in a meeting until we got notifications on our beepers. That just kind of tells you the year, 2001. We run downstairs to the lobby of the hotel, but so much time had elapsed that by the time we get down there, it was so packed, the first building started coming down. You could only imagine the shock, just the chaos, everyone screaming, and I'm thinking it's a commercial for another movie. All of a sudden, the realization hits that they got us again, and I had to lead through my team. People are coming in from the airport. We go outside, we could see the plume of smoke. It looked like they dropped a nuclear bomb. And I couldn't see much except what to see on the news, but I was there in 1993 when they tried to blow up the first building, and I was in Manhattan as well too. And I knew that the possibility could happen. But when it hit me the hardest was they had closed all the bridges and tunnels, and they finally opened it up mid-afternoon so I can go back home. And when I went over the Whitestone Bridge, which connects to Queens to the Bronx, heading upstate New York, to look over to the side to see the most iconic landmark in the world, the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers where I grew up, to see a plume of smoke, and what brought a harsh reality, but a dedication to the military. God bless you guys. To see fighter jets flying over the East River, over the plume of smoke as I'm driving over the bridge, and it was heartbreaking to know that all these lives were lost, right? And I had friends who had family members as well too. So I want to say to all of you that never forget what happened, to embrace your family and your friends, be kind to each other. I know we're in a different world right now, but remember the humanity that exists within yourself. And when you're troubled, you're angry, frustrated, just look over and just love thy neighbor, okay? And that's all I got to say, because it taught me a lot, seeing all those lives lost, and I got to see the destruction a day after because it was part of the territory. And it hits me now, and I wear this American flag in honor that this is the only time really that we were really united since World War II. And I do hope that this country does unite again in a common cause. And that's it. That's my story.
I couldn't have said that any better. Thank you, buddy, for sharing your story with us. All right, guys, I'm here at the headquarters for the Charlotte Fire Department. I was a paramedic here for Mecklenburg EMS Agency for 30 years in this community. I spent the first 7 years of my career working in Uptown, as they call it here locally, Charlotte. So we're headed to a memorial that has been put together for September 11th at Romare Bearden Park. And so I'm going to leave here and ride over to the memorial. But I wanted you guys to ride along with me through Uptown Charlotte to the memorial this morning. This is the City of Charlotte Fire Department headquarters. Let's go to the memorial. Right up here on the right is City Fire Station number 4. I was stationed out of this house for a while during my career. Right across the street is the French Quarter. Cool place to come and check out this little area. We are about 4 blocks from the Bank of America Stadium where the Carolina Panthers play. Guys, I haven't been down here to this park since I retired. I used to spend a lot of time in Uptown Charlotte. The last few years I was working, I came up here nearly every day to get me some coffee from Starbucks. And so this is where they have the memorial set up for September 11th. I wanted to give you guys a view of Uptown in the background there. So this is why I came down. All right, guys, I'm walking around the memorial one more time. I took you by all of the signage they had put out. I want to give you a little bit of better view of the flags. So obviously there's Old Glory right across the street. This is the Charlotte Knights Stadium right here. Every flag here has a photo of the victim that these flags represent. Each one of the victims are memorialized and given tribute to. talked to Melvin earlier. Remember back to September 12th now, how united our country was after these devastating attacks. We need to get that unity back in our country. And I'll leave it at that. All right, guys, we'll continue our ride through Uptown Charlotte. We're going to ride out by medic headquarters, and then I'm headed to the house. Once again, thanks for riding along today. And, let's see a few more things while we're here. Check out fateful Charlotte. All right, guys, last stop of the day for me on the way home, just to swing in by medic headquarters and video some footage from here real quick. I officially ended my career with Remembrance EMS Agency on January 1st of 2020. Started here in 1989, and my last day working was December 21st of 2019. Built a lot of stuff during my career, but pray for all your first responders, especially medical first responders right now. EMTs, paramedics, firefighters who respond to medical calls. Pray for your doctors and your nurses. I dealt with a lot of stuff. But this pandemic is really wearing on them. They need our prayers. They need our support. So, if you know a medical worker, firefighter, EMT, paramedic, nurse practitioner, physicians, physician assistants, keep an eye on them. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. All right, let's head home.